When you ask a child around the age of 8 if they are already able to brush their teeth on their own, you might receive answers like this. With big eyes of wonder, they could look at you, take a deep breath to appear a little taller in front of you, and then say loudly, "Of course, after all, we're already big." When you would ask them how in the world they'd learned such a complicated thing, they would give you a classic lesson that can be compared to making disciples. They could tell you about the following characteristics of their learning process.
We watched our parents brush their teeth. This made us want to do the same. We got a toothbrush that we were very proud to bite on, but it was not yet possible to call it brushing. We got precise instructions from our parents. They guided our hand while brushing our teeth so that we brushed together. We then tried it alone. The parents stood by, checked at the end how well it worked already, and partly brushed a little more. Soon we were able to do it all by ourselves. But from then on, we often needed the parents who reminded us to brush or even briefly scanned our teeth with a checking look. Today, we are able to teach our little siblings how to brush their teeth.
Without parents' education and support, children would probably rarely have come up with the idea of healthy oral hygiene. They would have gotten teeth, but with much higher risk of decay or losing them in a painful way. This often happens to people who are not discipled. Similar needs for parenthood exist also in spiritual life, where many dangers are avoided through the support of spiritual parenthood.
John 3 verse 3 explains that through the grace of Jesus they are born anew. What a joy! From now on they are allowed to become citizens of the kingdom of heaven. We can see in Philippians 3 verse 20. But their development does not proceed in a healthy way, because an important part of their development depends on having parents who help them discover, guide them, encourage, and enable them, so that they themselves can again guide others and thus become parents. If this process of fostering is missing in a child's development, we deprive it massively. Parents who invest themselves in the development of their children is not a nice to have, but a fundamental requirement. At the end of his life, Jesus gave a command to the disciples. In Matthew 28 verse 19 to 20 we read, "Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all that I have commanded you." This is an order from Jesus and not an optional program for overmotivated Christians. It concerns all disciples and it's a process. What Jesus means by making disciples has been demonstrated impressively with his 12 disciples, whom he has instructed in a very similar way to the process of brushing teeth, through example and the corresponding teaching, and ultimately with the goal that at the end of his ministry, they can do the same again with their disciples.
There are countless good instructions, seminars, and sermons on how to read the Bible, how to pray, how to hear God's voice, how to tell other people about Jesus and lead them to Jesus, how to live generously, how to live sexually holy, how to forgive people, how to love and respect others more than oneself, how to cast out demons, and how to heal the sick. But no matter how many seminars there are, we desperately need parents to guide, encourage, correct, celebrate successes, work through failures with us, and much more. We don't need high-level, technically skilled parents, but rather those who love us and share with us what they have already learned in the kingdom of God. In doing so, they themselves benefit from it again and continue to mature. No church administration system can replace parenthood, no matter how highly gifted and charismatic the leadership may be. And we also don't need to have 10 years of experience as a Christian to start making disciples. As a side thought, maybe you wonder if the multiplication process fits in the church ecosystem or in a community. It definitely fits, but it can require some adjustments in how we do certain things if we are willing.
Paul, a highly gifted leader, recognized it, and instead of teaching many useful units to young Christians, he decided to accompany people personally, like a mother and a father. In 1 Thessalonians 2 verse 6 to 7, we can see that he gave himself to the Thessalonians. And in Galatians 4 verse 19, he talks about birth pains towards the Galatians. In 1 Corinthians 4 verse 15, he shows the Corinthians how much he lives this fatherhood. Disciples are made at eye level with the people whom God has entrusted to us for this purpose. It requires a relationship proximity that cannot be made behind the pulpit or on stage. Newborn Christians need to have people not only to look up to, but to share one-on-one daily subjects, victories and issues of life and faith. Learning processes are multiple, intentionality is needed, but the joy when we experience how children grow up outweighs everything. In 3 John 1 verse 4 it says, "I have no greater joy than to hear that my children are walking in the truth."
One of the aims of this multiplication process is to realize that all topics from prayer to evangelization to discipleship and to celebration are all constantly connected, working together, and the importance of living them all for the harvest and for the mission Jesus gave us. If we miss discipleship, we are endangered to leave these newborn children as converts and not as disciples. The great news is that we can all learn how to become fathers or mothers and make disciples. This is not all in opposition to the passion for evangelization. This is rather a logical continuation so that people become disciples, and we are invited to take care of our spiritual children until full maturity.